Hi all van enthusiasts, back with part 2 of the internals of the Grandmanner 4. The defects on this van, it's more of a some footage for buyer beware. If you do purchase one of these vans, maybe if you get a second hand one, all these problems are ironed out. You'd think buying a brand new one you wouldn't have these problems, but I've got, you can see in front of us, there's 3-4 pages of defects, and they're probably not all here. Oh, that's a service. So I'm just going to quickly run over the internals of what's going on in these vans. We'll start here in the club lounge. What we've got here, originally this was torn. The fly screen had all little pit holes in it from screws or something up in there that pitted out all the fly screen. So they replaced that. What they did, they dropped it down from the top here, and obviously you can see I can not quite get my finger in there, but up the other end, no problems. It's out of parallel of the cabinetry, so that stands out to me. And also I can't get these headrests in here, they don't fit anymore. So what they've done, without my consent, I clearly said to Brian, the owner, I want these in, I like them, this is what I paid for, this is why I bought the van. Not why, but it's a part of the van. When I bought it, they don't go in. So he's torn them out, taken them out without my consent. We have a big mark right along the top here of where it was, and I'm thinking the only thing I could think of is the Velcro that they've torn off. Right, so I've picked up my van on the 8th time, and they're just sitting here on the seats like this, and he's told me they're better off without, and they keep falling out. He took them out of his van. Why put these in if they keep falling out? If they keep falling out, secure them properly so they don't fall out. So really that's just a cop out and a load of bullshit to me, and I'm not going to stand for that. I want it fixed. This needs to be taken to the top where it was originally. These need to go back in. Okay, this has been a problem 4 times. It's been back because of this 4 times. I've got all the documentation, all the footage to prove this, and I'll attach photos and stuff as well along the way from before and after, so you can see that this was legit. Okay, so I'll get the van back. Hopefully they're coming out. There's some dinks in these seats where they've sat things over here as well. Hopefully they'll come out with some time sitting on them, but they shouldn't be putting sharp objects on seats while they're doing repairs on vans. This care factor is 0. Okay, so we have cabinetry out of alignment. As you can see, the gaps probably doesn't show up real clear on camera, but they're out of alignment, and especially over here is this cabinetry here. It's sitting a fair way down lower. This has been brought up multiple times to be repaired, fixed, lifted up. Has not happened. We're going to this headpiece here, stereo. I think there's about 4 times again, backwards and forwards, coming back from trips saying it's not Bluetooth and it's not connecting to my phone, I can't get music. And it was just one thing after another of not taking ownership, denial, but proof is it wasn't working. Finally got a new one. They wanted a gold badge on their chest for doing that for me, but really this should have been dealt with straight away. I had to ask for the speaker here to be put in, which is a part of the system. It was sitting up inside the cabinetry. I don't know why you'd put a speaker up in there for, unless you keep it open all the time, don't use it for food. Just these are small things, but also that add up, and it's something that the supervisor at these manufacturing plants and all the owner Brian should be going over these vans with a fine-tooth comb and not allowing these vans to leave the lot until they're absolutely flawless. At this price they should be flawless. Maybe a couple little things understandable, but the list I have just goes on and on. So we got just in here, we had a leak through the ceiling, come through here, it was dripping down there, flooded out this cabinetry, which that got fixed. I have an aerial that's snapped. Somehow they tell me an aerial like that can bend just like that, snapped at the threaded end. It's a load of shit because there was no thread in there when I found it on my driveway. It was just a faulty inferior metal, and it snapped. They wouldn't replace it, wouldn't fix it, because it'd break their budget. So there's been no compensation or sorries or anything from this company. It's absolutely disgraceful. We have this lid here on the cooker. It used to sit here and just keep falling down, so you'd be cooking and it'd constantly be because this was so vertical or past that this top kept coming down. So when Crystal was cooking, it kept falling down on her. So we had to try and hold up with Oki straps, which is not all safe. So they decided to cut this cabinetry back here, the top, 20 mil. And what it's done is the overhang, I've lost my overhang here. I've accepted that, okay, but it's not uniform with the rest of the kitchen. They could have put a new top on it like they said they were going to, okay. It's called give and take. I accepted that. It's working. I'm happy with it. So from there, we go into just under here. This has been mentioned multiple times, video footage and all this. See all this silicone and shit up there? It's just been sprayed. Looks like they've cut something from silicone and it's sprayed and stuck to me feet of these overhead cupboards. So that wasn't cool. We've got rough silicone job along here, as you can see. That should have been cleaned up acetone on the spot when it was before it was drying. There was missing edge lips along here. This here, they're fixed up. That was missing. Okay, we've got a TV that just does not hook up to Wi-Fi. We've stayed at a few places now, use my phone, use my computer, will not hook up to Wi-Fi. So you can get to the site, let's say Rumble or something you're looking at, but it will not download anything. So this has been mentioned to try and make out that I've lost the plot, but I'm pretty tech savvy when it comes to working out how, if I want to watch footy, I'll end up watching it, so don't worry about that. We got in these drawers, there was no kitchen cutlery drawer. It was like asking for a kidney to get a cutlery drawer from them, but I got one. That must have broke the budget, all the $5. Along with, you know, another petty thing that they thought was petty, they broke me key carabiner. Like, how do you break one of them? What are you, jumping on the keys or something? They had their van just borrowing it and made a big deal of that, but it's not the point. It's when you give somebody something, you don't give it back to them broken. So I've got footage of this as well, which I'll share. It must be coming out of these, but like all the shavings, it just constantly falls onto the van when it's just sitting here. The van's always full of this shavings, like from the MDF, the chipboard that they've used. So I'll just check my list, go through the list. We'll go to, there was a bubble in the floor as well, but just on the bottom of this fridge I noticed here, on the cabinetry, there's no edge lip. That should have an edge lip tape on it. These little detail things we had in here. Also, this was loose. These weren't even on, they were just sliding around, and this was loose. It was just on this whiteboard, and so I made them. As I looked into this, I've realised that all the cabinetry in here was all chunked out, like cut up with like near a chainsaw, and so they've fixed it, this cabinetry, and you'll see where the screws have come through here. It's no big deal, but there's a hole there that was they've just patched over. A lot better than what I was. So check this stuff out. They've put a washing machine in here, which I've never used. That's just, there's still the plastic on it. Look at the size of this washing machine. You're lucky to wash a pair of undies and a friggin' bra in there. So I did ask for a bigger wash machine, and they told me can't get one. So it's about that deep. So motor can't be that big, but I don't know. So I had to wear that one. Also, there was a bubble in the floor right here, which it took probably another 4 or 5 visits to get that fixed. They injected some resin in there, some glues, and it's got it down, which is great. Fixed, problem solved. Coming into the ensuite, they've had to put a new splashback in because it was all bubbled. It's come off the framework. This has just been done this week on the 8th visit. You see the rough silicone job here. You know, pretty average. It's not hard to do silicone, like you can train monkeys to do it. Down here especially, there's a hole down the bottom. I don't know if it's real clear. Water just goes straight down there. So that was a rough job. I've got here, this was loose, and it's not in the same plane as this door. It kicks out at the bottom, so it hits here. So that was an issue. They've sort of fixed it, but well, it looks better. This had no grub screws in it, so that was always falling out. So toilet paper was on the ground all the time. We had issue there. Issue with the bubble, the floor down here. That was all fixed. There's a bubble on the floor. They've pulled the bed out, redone the bed, but what they've done, whatever they've used to hold the floor down, what was setting, it's left little crisscrosses in the floor all through here. Okay, they've left a weight on there and it's indented in my floor. This is not acceptable in any standard. You know, my job as a builder and my clients would not accept that. Crystal worked as putting vinyl floors down in her profession. This is not acceptable. What would happen is me and my profession, and Crystal as well, you'd have to take the whole floor up and replace it for something like that. So it's called give and take, Vanman and Newcastle Caravan Repairs. This has been a one-way street, this relationship. I had, which I got footage too, which I'll share with you too. This thing leaked here, flogged in, it's just soaked through here, soaked me bed. Because there's a vent in here, you can shut it off with you pull this down, and somewhere in here, I'll have to have a look. Like there's a here it is. This piece goes up, shuts the vent off, so water don't get in. This was not shown to me because I had a 20-minute handover. Supposedly, I've been told through 2 people who work for this company, which was John and I think Scott, and also one of the salesmen who doesn't work there no more, but it's a 4-hour handover, like 20 minutes. So we've had a shower leak. We don't know if it still leaks, so I'll have a shower in it today just to try it, but they've siliconed it up. And I don't think it's where they've siliconed it, it's pretty rough too. It's in the channel here, but we'll see. So this could be still another problem. So when I get this van back from Vanman, it comes back, people have been in this working on it. They don't clean anything after they're finished. They leave their dust and their dirt and their greasy marks and their silicone marks and shit all over the van, and I've got to clean it. So this company is absolutely, I'd give it a no star, and I've told them that. Happy to tell them again, telling them now. It is just, it's been a horrible experience. I've been very emotionally upset and angry and frustrated that this has happened, because I run a business, have done for near 30 years, and there's no way this is acceptable on my standards. What I call perfect is a different perfect to theirs. Okay, so what I call good would be really exceptional to them guys. So our standards are just so, you know, so indifferent. This is okay with Vanman, it's not okay with me, and this is where we've got to be clear with these guys. If you buy these vans, be clear on what your expectations are and your standards. So this is pretty much off the top of my head, my list and that here, what I've got. Also wasn't told about my first service and when I should have one, but I took it in for one and I missed one because I wasn't even told about a first service, and I get a bill of $700 for my first service. Okay, all they did was changed 4 wheel bearings supposedly and greased up 12 nipples. That's all for $700. Okay, this thing doesn't have an engine. They didn't grease up any of the grease nipples on the toolboxes. So even copping a bill like that is disgusting. After all what they've done in this van and the waste of my time in doing this shit and driving it down there and picking it back up, missing out on holidays, cutting holidays short because things have been going wrong in it. The van's blanked out. We've had to come home early from a trip up Treachery because we weren't told on the electronics on the van how it worked and how the inverter worked, and so there's just been no accountability from Newcastle Caravans around this van. There's a lot of trying to throw it back on me, but we've nearly there, but not quite. This needs to be fixed around the window, but everyone, this is just to let you know what you're up for. Possibly you may have got a good one. This has been a lemon, but watch out for the traps, because this, as far as my experience with Newcastle Caravan repairs, it's all about money, not the customer. It's about the money. Profits before people, and this is just part of the world we're living in, but it doesn't have to be this way. So we'll leave it at that. I hope I've informed you with a few things. Happy to answer questions. Feel free to comment and any feedback. If you've experienced this, or you've had a good experience, is always nice to hear as well. And your journey with these vans, because I look forward to spending a lot of time in here. Now most of it's fixed. We'll just see how it goes on road, and hopefully it's going to be a good experience from here. But I'd love to hear back from others who have also purchased one of these vans, and if there is issues, I think we should share and get this business accountable for this garbage they send out. Alright guys, peace and have a good trip. I hope this has been informal for you.